Hi, I'm Connor Hayes. I am a senior, originally from Pittsburgh, PA, still living in Alumni Hall. When I came in to Notre Dame, I kind of came in with knowledge of kind of what the situation was. I was kind of already out to my family, somewhat out coming into campus. So I was very aware and kind of paying attention to what were LGBT issues like on campuses when I was looking at the colleges. So when I decided to come to Notre Dame, it was with the understanding of what things were like. So I kind of came in with a little bit of a fire of kind of wanting to be an active part of the LGBT community to try to change things. When I came in freshman year during Fresh Show, I was probably one of two or three actually out gay or lesbian members of the incoming class. That news spread pretty quickly, and I kind of got a lot of attention really quickly. It was like, oh, what, gay? What? Amongst the freshman class. I was exposed to some of the kind of weird complexities of being gay on campus, again, through my Fresh Show experience. And then freshman year, I had a safe space card up on my door, and it kind of got defaced with an X-Acto knife. And then junior year, someone kind of scrawled a gay slur on another safe space sign that I had up. But through Prism, I really got involved with hearing people's stories out and realizing how rough of an experience people had, especially in other kind of stereotypical hypermasculine guys' dorms like Alumni where I was. Just people having kind of a rough experience, just adjusting and the way their roommates treated them if they came out to their roommates. Being as confident as I am and as out as I am is a rarity. I mean, it's still a rarity. Coming in freshman year, I was one of two or three. Knowing the freshman class this year, there might be a slight improvement in the people who are very out and confident about their sexuality. There's so many people who are dealing with insecurities, dealing with rough home situations, working through their faith. Even now, senior year, I could pinpoint at least 25 gay men and lesbian women in my class at Notre Dame. I would say maybe 10 of those just came out in the last few months. I get kind of weird looks when people will see me, putting a rainbow flag outside my window, or having just kind of rainbow banners on my backpack and stuff like that. It's still a rarity for it. I think campus has become more accepting on kind of a ideological level. People are very comfortable with the idea of kind of gays and lesbians, and same-sex marriage is overwhelmingly accepted by the student body. But at the same time, some people are like thrown off when they see someone who's very out and proud. There's still a lot of work to go. You'll still hear kind of gay slurs thrown around between all male friend groups that just may not know otherwise. I don't think it's malicious. I think it's just something that they grew up kind of enculturated to throw around when they're with the guys. But overall, I think the campus environment has improved a lot in the last 3 years.
I'm Adrienne Wisman. I'm St. Mary's class of 2017. I'm a history and humanistic studies major. My experience as a member of the LGBTQ community it's kind of interesting because on the one hand, I'm really out with my friends. They all know that I'm not straight. But at the same time, whenever I'm in the classroom, they just sort of like assume that everybody's straight. And there's just kind of like this disconnect between like how I experience the world and how they assume I do. I've had professors say, well, when you guys all marry your special man, and I'm just like, maybe I might marry a man, might marry a woman, might never get married, And they just assume that that's like what everybody wants, the heteronormative lifestyle. Currently, I'm in a gender and women's studies course. So obviously she tries to make it so that she never assumes. So she never assumes her gender identity or her sexual orientation. And she even, she brings on examples of, I knew a guy who was asexual, I knew a guy who was bi. I have friends who are, in the LGBTQ community and tries to normalize it. So then everybody just sort of falls into place with it. Because once the professor normalizes it in the classroom discussion, everybody just sort of thinks, oh, it's okay to talk about this. It's okay to ask questions. So I think that's a good first step. I remember when I won the GALA scholarship, I was, I freaked out for 2 weeks. I couldn't stop smiling. And I ran down told my friend Becky, and she was really happy for me. And I texted my mom, hey, I won this scholarship, and she freaked out. And it was just like I didn't expect to win it because there's so many more worthy people here in Notre Dame SMIC community. And it was just kind of a shock, but I was really thankful. I think people are becoming more educated, but I think for me personally, I've found those little pockets of acceptance, and the pockets are kind of growing, like especially with like the legalization of gay marriage over the summer and stuff. People are talking about it more, and it's kind of an everyday topic in classes, so people, it's becoming normal, something every day, so it's not a big of a shocker when somebody says, oh, I'm a lesbian, or oh, I'm bisexual. Once we get to that level in a classroom where you can say, oh, I'm biromantic, asexual, and people are just, they know what that is, and they are just like, oh, cool. And people just don't assume things about you, and we could actually have a discussion without prejudice and ignorance. I think that's my ultimate, like, happy place.
Hi, I'm Brian Ricketts. I am a senior here at Notre Dame, live in Duncan Hall. I'm originally from Cambridge, Ohio, over on the eastern side, studying chemical engineering and political science in a dual degree program. And I'm serving this year as Notre Dame's student body president. I was openly gay. I mean, my main experience that I was running on was that I'd been president of prison for 2 years, and that I had that experience. So there wasn't any hiding who I was or the fact that I was gay, and we were elected by a 10-point margin. So it was a great win for, I think, the acceptance here. And I mean, I was running with somebody whose experience was part of Diversity Council. So the fact that we were the diversity ticket and pulled off a 10-point victory, we were pretty proud of that. And it's interesting to see how things have changed, especially even in the interactions with administrators. Like, people stop talking about it as how do we deal with the problem that we have LGBT students here who aren't supported, into like they talk about it like any other group of students here on campus. How are we talking about their growth and their development and their like them as whole people rather than as problems and issues. And I think that's definitely been a positive change. It's easy to say we've gotten better because we have, and in other ways, we're still the same. We still have issues. I was just before this hanging out with a friend on a bench outside because it is gorgeous today. It's like 70 in South Bend. I don't know. That never happens. Certainly not in November. But anyway, and a couple guys were walking past, and one of them was just calling his friend to find out where he was. And the friend who was walking with him was making fun of the fact that he was calling his friend who was a guy and, insinuating that, he must be gay because who calls a guy on a cell phone? Like, you don't have that kind of conversation. That's too close. And it's irritating to that that people still hold that kind of belief. And I'm sure if you talk to them, they'd be like, oh, I'm tolerant. I'm cool with that. But it's not quite the same as being accepting and recognizing the impact that those words have. I visited here the summer after my junior year of high school for a week-long program, a leadership seminar about global issues. Met a lot of students during that time. Met a lot of professors during that time, and it felt. A lot of people say when they come to Notre Dame, you get on campus and it just feels right, and it felt right for me. But that was also for me in the time where I had just come out to myself pretty recently. And as strange as it might seem to some people, I actually found a lot of solace and support in the grotto. I went there several times during my visit and was praying and asking Mary for some advice. What do I do about this now that I figured it out? And instead of finding ridicule or a feeling that I was being pushed away from my faith, in a lot of ways, it made me stronger. Like the experiences that I had with faith in the grotto, praying about my sexuality, started then, continued during my freshman year, and from that I found nothing but support. It's something I always take with me when I'm doing admissions tours or when I'm talking to prospective students. I always throw in something like, that I was the president of PRISM, that's the LGBT organization. And then, at the end, I always reiterate that, and I'm giving out my business card. I always get out to the kids, not the parents. So that if somebody's coming with the same experience that I did, they're not out to their parents yet, that they have my email, they can ask me what it is, and try to make them feel as comfortable as possible about it and be as honest as possible about what it's like here.
Hi, I'm Eve. I'm a junior here at Notre Dame, and I live in Fisher Hall right now. I should probably mention this. I'm trans. I'm not a gay cis dude. I'm a trans woman. And so that automatically will set me apart from a lot of people. I don't know. I've always been really involved with my dorm, and when I first came out, it was to my circle of close friends here, and then I was in my dorm, and that's my dorm is very protective of me, and that's my source of support, like my rector, my hallmates, my RAs. The faculty here are great. I've when I first was deciding to come out to a lot of people and just wanted to be gendered properly, I emailed my professors and I said, hey, my name is Eve. She, her pronouns. Can you call me those? And they're like, fine. And so the faculty, they're just wonderful and supportive. I'm thinking about whether if I was given the chance to if I had to do it over again, whether I would come here again. I don't know. And this summer, there was a lot of because this summer was when trans stuff started coming on people's radars because of the whole Caitlyn Jenner stuff, and there was social media and stuff, and especially anonymous social media on campus was not fun to look at. And I'd met with some people talking about schools to which I could transfer, but then eventually I wisened up and I was because that was just I wanted a contingency plan in case I got too bad, but luckily, I haven't had to worry about that. And I was just I have just as much of a right to be here as those people, and I have people who will, support me and whom I can fall back and who are there right alongside me. And so I think I would, knowing what I know, I would come back again. I think I'm happy I came here. I don't think I would have been. I think this is the best place for me. Anything that really GALA could do better isn't really GALA's fault. I wish that they would be recognized by Notre Dame, just because that, it's okay, we'll recognize the students while they're here. It's okay, LGBTQ students here exist, but then it's once they leave, there's not, they're not an official, what's it called, an affiliate group of the university, so it's they don't recognize their queer trans alumni. So, and then that limits what GALA's allowed to do with us, and how they can be supportive. They're very good, in what they have done though, and I'm so happy about that.